Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. We're in. We're finally in. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. This is going to be another Ariel Stormgate qualifier series. This one is going to be featuring in the blue, already flying his arc ship away. This is Toxin. I don't think I've cast a Toxin game yet, so welcome to the channel, Toxin. And in the red, playing Vanguard, this is Corsair. And I've definitely cast a few of Corsair's games before. He's actually a regular member on my channel. And we'll see who's going to win in this Celestial vs. Vanguard Duke Out. Is that a thing? A Duke Out? I don't know. We've got double arc ship. Pretty standard opening, although we saw that first arc ship fly over here. We're producing basically a little soft wall here. Just a little SimCity to try and make it harder to get in and out. And what do we got going on for Corsair? We've seen a lot of Vanguard today. And this is a pretty standard Vanguard opening. With the first scout out on the map. Gonna charge along and see what's going on over here for Toxin. And of course, what do we got here? Oh, this is a good scout, because we're going to see the Star Forge on the way. This Judicator node is also almost done. Oh, sorry, that was it. I was looking at the progress bar there, and it was going real fast. I'm like, that doesn't look right. That's because a Judicator node takes longer than an Energizer node, and that was an Energizer node, not a Judicator. So that's what was going on there. And for Corsair, we're opening Scout, it looks like. Although the first Exos are also on their way. So the Biokinetics Lab's already up, and that looks like that we've got our Quick Draw Hustle. And queued up behind that is the Scout's Rundown ability. Toxin's going Vectors. At least that's what we see first out of that Star Forge. The first Vector's going bravely across the map all by itself. There's a lot of units here. Although Vectors, of course, are very quick. But so are Quick Draw Hustled Exos and Scouts. And look at how Corsair's trying to zone and make sure that his units can keep getting a damage. Although he loses one Exo there, so I don't know if it worked in his favor. And now a second Vector showed up, and also really nice micro from Toxin as well.
Enemy forces have begun to secure a Stormgate.
So now it's just going to be a tug of war. Exos versus Vectors. The Scouts, I like this control from Corsair to try and keep the Scouts back so that they're not going to take attacks from the Vectors. But a tug of war on the Stormgate always seems weird to me because it's just a lot of wasted DPS, a lot of wasted APM even. Now here we go. Corsair says, fine, I'm going to sacrifice my pups to go in and kill all your Argents. And will he get the Stormgate? The Vectors are still being a little bit annoying. This is where the tug of war I think is okay, because you're like, okay, I'm trying to deny you from actually capturing it. It's almost done. But, the deep, oh wow, Vector gets caught out. Stormgate captured by Corsair. Toxin has to retreat. And we got ourselves a creeping horror, yes. I always want to call him the shambling walker or something like that, but he's the creeping horror. Got too many arms. That's creepy. Blah. Of course, the creeping horror has that slow ability, which is very useful against the Vectors. So that was a very strategic pick. You often see Feyrin or you see this creeping horror. Creeping horrors are very common if you're facing fast units like Vectors or Hedgehogs. Exo's here just trying to pick off the Star Force. That could be really useful. But now going toe-to-toe with the Vectors. Couple Exos going down, but so are the Vectors. This Starforge is... Oh, no. He pulls back. Corsair. Very close to taking that out. Oh, here come the boys. The little Robo Prism boys. They're pulled to the front. But it's still nice control, actually, by both players here. Microing their units. The Prisms are here to tank. But the Exos were focus firing vectors most of the time there. So, good moves by both of them. We're starting to see these nodes going down. This is not great. Toxin is in a rough spot here as he starts losing building. But he takes out the Creeping Horror. That's a big win. The first medtechs are showing up. We're summoning a couple extra buildings here, trying to get maybe some Arges out of those creation chambers. Now their vector goes down. Or did it Delta jump away? It was hard to sell there because it was very low. But Corsair's units now are, yeah, they're doing damage in the production, taking out the supply. Of course, with Celestial, that's not really supply that's going to matter in terms of units. Ooh, Creation Chamber goes down. These vectors doing their best to put on a defense, but they just don't have enough firepower to go toe-to-toe with the whole army. And as more units of Corsair trail in, I think this could spell the end for Toxin in his game number 1 here. Still doing a really good job of microing those vectors to try and keep them alive. Get damage done where they can. Ooh, couple go down though. And that's going to be a GG from Toxin. Welcome back in. This is game number 2. We're on Black Spire Station. And this is going to be in the red. Once again, Corsair. And his opponent playing Celestial in the blue. This is Toxin. We're on Black Spire Station, which is one of the oldest of the new maps, and also made by our tournament host, Ariel Stormgate, if I recall correctly. Once again, shout out to all our map makers who make these beautiful new community-built maps. Community-built game, community-built tournament. So shout out to all the folks who put in their time and effort to make this game and community fun. And let's see what these two are going to be able to build for us out of this game. Looking kind of the same from Toxin to start out. 2 arc ships, repositioning as arc ships. And Corsair racks on the high ground. Looks very similar too. Looks like a practice build to me. And we get our first scout coming out for Corsair. First scout comes out. Gonna rush across the map, see what's going on for Toxin. Toxin has the first chamber out and going for a scanner. We got cats and dogs here today. The classic battle, cats and dogs. Cat out. Look at them scrapping. What can you do if you're a cat? Grace Light node, although the cat does like 0 damage, which is not true because I have a cat and she does definitely some damage. Actually, the cat does 1 damage if I remember correctly. 1 damage. So maybe that is accurate. My cat does about 1 damage. Okay, so we see where the scanner goes. And if you haven't been following along, this is what scanners are really for. They become little invisible tree perchers. They're basically observers. Again, from that old game you may have heard of once called StarCraft? Yeah, something like that. Anyways, they're little invisible scouters. And now you can see the ring of vision here. That just means that Toxin's going to know when Corsair is moving out. It's going to know what kind of composition. As we can see right now, the pups are just camped out right underneath this scout, this spy here, scanner. So Toxin's going to see everything. Looks like Toxin has also... I think I zoomed in a little bit there. I can't tell which zoom I'm on anymore. In any case...
Stormgate has appeared.
Vectors, same kind of build. We are at 3 arc ships for Toxin, so this is definitely a macro-y style. Want to get that accelerated prism production, sorry. 3 vectors versus this small force. This reminds me of last game.
Enemy forces have begun to secure a Stormgate.
What do we have? Yeah, it's just more exos coming in. This is going to be dangerous. The vectors move away.
Enemy forces have begun to secure a Stormgate.
And we keep hearing those howls. Those are the scouts looking for those vectors. And again, the reaction time here is quick because the scouts can see the vectors coming from further away. Oh, wow. 1 exo actually goes down. Is that 1 shot by 4 vectors? Or did they get 2 shots off there? It wasn't clear to me. But another pup goes down. And once again, it's the creeping horror. We're seeing a repeat for sure of last game. And Corsair is looking to repeat completely and go for the win here again. The creeping horror's up, but there is a Kree. No rollout yet. Unfortunately, caught in the slow. The Kree goes down without being able to do any real good damage. And now we're seeing nodes start going down here. That creation chamber might also go down. Another Kree, another vector. Creation chamber pops. Node pops. This is looking bad news for Toxin here. He's going to do his best to hold on. But these exos are starting to get a little bit of a snowball rolling down the hill here. Every time they're able to pull down a couple more units. And yeah, that's going to be GG, well played from Toxin in game number 2.